then they say no. The problem is what is outrageous to me is somebody else in the hall might say, I might think the architecture's awful, somebody might think it's wonderful, because a lot of it's subjective. Are they providing the right number of car parking spaces for the number of units? Easily measured, answer is yes or no. Is this architecture of a high quality? And we're beginning to come on to somebody else's later question. Well, my high quality is your rubbish, and vice versa. There are problems with that. One of the issues that a lot of people have raised with us is they don't want to lose the character of this area. It's Victorian Edwardian charm, it's been described. A village, I think that's pushing it a bit far, but anyway, they think it's a nice, small, human scale. And 8 stories high starts becoming inner city, not domestic. So that is quite difficult, which is why you're not going to get to the answer is A, B, and C, because it ain't. There's no black and white, it's grey, dark grey, and light grey. Any more questions on that? Yes, the lady down here? They're all...
I just wondered how Newmarket ever came to be designated a town. It's not a town, it's a small, low-level Victorian suburb. And a town then implied a town centre and a high street. Well, the high street is poor old Barnet Road. And I wondered if it's anything to do with planning requirements and whether calling our little Victorian suburb a town made it easier to ask permission to land a great big unwanted supermarket.
Public inquiry. At the public inquiry this week, after the first few presentations, I started making a note of the number of times the word district centre was used. And so I missed about the first half hour, but after that I think I got 37 district centres. Because that is somewhere in the council's documents, which I haven't found clearly, I can find it referred to as district centre. The definition doesn't seem to fit. It seems to be because we've got more than 70,000 square foot of retail, or put another way, Sainsbury's. If we didn't have Sainsbury's, we'd be a little local centre like East Barnet. But because we've got Sainsbury's, we've been promoted to the Premier Division. We don't have any banks at all. We used to have 3, they've all gone now. Most of the facilities you expect to find in a district centre we don't have. But we're lumbered with the title, and we're lumbered with trying to aspire to what some people see as a district centre, when we want to be our still little local centre. Let's move on, because I realise the time's coming. Job creation. What we've heard is going to be 300 to 400 jobs. But the problem is, if you're going to take the business away from trade away from other businesses, they will lay staff off. So we could well lose 100 or 200 jobs from the existing stores. So it's not 300 or 400 new jobs, it's replacement jobs. We don't lose so many jobs with ASDA, Tesco are a high number, but we're here to talk about ASDA tonight. And of the 300 or 400 jobs, not many of them are skilled jobs. They're mostly semi-skilled, unskilled, shelf stacking or cashier, which is great for youngsters, but it's not really a career move or the sort of jobs we want. Anything else on jobs, job creation? Yes?
I'll try and keep it brief. The gas site employed 700 or so when it was in its operational capacity. Since then, they're going to replace it with the ASDA shop, which will have a small hierarchy of the elite full-time jobs and a lot of part-time jobs. It's going to be a lot of jobs in Sainsbury's, Budgeons, and all the other ones in jeopardy. We're at a time of economic downturn. People are losing their jobs left, right and centre. And this development would displace a lot more. A lot of the people in New Barnet, they commute to central London. The banking jobs are gone. All other jobs are gone. I used to be a catering lecturer. I say that because I used to spend summer holidays as a mobile head chef. And I've been in a lot of different places where there were factories and that, and it's now gone. Probably over 100. I've seen what happened in Watford. Watford had displacement. The print industry's gone. They lost Rolls Royce. They put a film studio over there.
I think they're very good points, and we've made a note of it, and we'll follow that up. Thank you very much, sir. The next point. Sir? Yeah.
That's all I've got to say.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your points. Contamination of the site. Yes, it's a gasworks site. It's very heavily contaminated. ASDA have made full provision for decontamination. It hasn't been cleaned up yet, and they're proposing, if they get planning permission, and they will need permission before they can start the clean-up job, to use ground washing or soil washing, which is what has been used on the Olympic Village site. So instead of having thousands of lorries carting hundreds of thousands of tons of contaminated soil through the streets, they keep it all on site and they chemically wash it. That's a far more environmentally safe and better way of doing it. So I would not knock them for that. And they know that you cannot have food stores and residential units on contaminated sites. There are very tight regulations. They will have to comply with them. Because there's a brook running through the middle of the site, they have the Environment Agency breathing down their neck all the time, and hopefully the borough environmental health officers as well. So I think that is less of an issue, I think, because I think they have that in hand. Anything else on contamination before we move on? I'm watching the clock. The grounds for objection and priorities. You can't complain because the rateable value of your house will drop. You can't complain because your traffic in front of your house will reduce the value of your property. You can't complain because the view from your front window is worse because of all the cars. Those are not material grounds. Anything to do with money in your house, not relevant. But if it is going to have an impact on the characteristics of the area, that is a ground for objection. If the traffic is going to if the increased traffic is going to have a major impact, fire, ambulance, bottlenecks, congestion, all of the environmental issues arising from fumes and the like, they're a reasonable ground for objection. If there are concerns over the housing, the type of housing, the quality of housing, the appearance of the housing, those are all points that you can put down and are material. I'll come back to you at the end, sir. They've got to be material grounds. Is it the right use of the site? Is it in accordance with the planning brief which has been prepared? And we know it's not entirely in accordance with the UDP because the council has advertised it as a major departure from the UDP. That's in their own adverts in the paper. So those are some of the primary grounds. If you go onto our website, we have got an aid memoir and a pro forma letter which gives some of the main headings: huge increase in traffic, size of the development, unsympathetic with the area's existing architecture, inappropriate housing for the area, and threat to independent shops and businesses. So we've got all of those down, and you can think of others, but the value of your house, don't mention that because that's in the bin job. Yes, sir, do you want to come back?
I just wanted to point out that most people are concerned, have expressed concern about the traffic. Now, the traffic wouldn't be a problem if the building itself wasn't vastly out of scale with the need of the vicinity. the applicant